ladies and gentlemen, here with Brian Shepler of Shepler Capital. Let's jump into the real estate space and tokenization of real estate. You've been putting deals together, you've been having conversations with syndicators. How many syndicators do you think are aware of the possibility of that this new mechanism even exists?
Very few, very few. I think there's a lot of syndicators that are not aware of crypto at all.
And much less tokenization.
Right, and so to go down that route, it's very difficult to start those conversations without the understanding of crypto. And stablecoin, which is where I would focus on, because you're talking about payments and you want a secure, fairly stable valuation that you would pick instead of some of these crypto assets.
Right.
So I would say very few, less than 10%.
How do we, and I say we, meaning mostly you, how are you planning to educate them? Is that just through conversation? Is it through events? Is it through a FOMO when you take a group of syndicators and show them this opportunity and then all of their friends will want to learn more? How does that?
I think it starts with a case study. You have to, everything is understood better when you can show examples of end to end with real numbers and show the steps through the process. So I think that's, in my mind, is step one, and is to take an apartment deal that's currently owned, not one that would be
Finance, right.
And tokenize it. Tokenize a portion of the equity, and you don't even have to trade that. You just need to go through the process. And that would be a good way to start. The channel that you would use to evangelize into, to build the knowledge, I think you start with some of the larger real estate groups that already exist today.
Yeah.
I'm a part of one in the Dallas area. I know there's another one in Dallas as well. I think those control hundreds of thousands of units and hundreds, maybe even a thousand complexes. And that is an enormous opportunity right there. And even if you just get 15-20% of the people who are interested, once you show them some of the benefits, then that is an enormous step forward.
So what's the next step in this process? And I think you've already hit on this. If only we knew people that owned apartment complexes.
That's right.
No, it's probably going to be, we're aware of some companies that are doing this as a financing tool, but it's probably going to be faster if the owners of the asset just use it as a partial liquidity event. They don't even have to trade it on a secondary market, like you said. It can just be tokenized and have the option to trade it.
I think once you explain the benefits to for the LPs, and also the benefits to the shares that they own that they could trade, that would open the doors to them wanting to explore further and tokenize the real estate.
There's really a few companies that are working on this, and it's almost like it's so nascent that there's no Amazon, there's no Apple. This sector is so fragmented, I guess, that you really don't see a lot of leadership or a lot of eyeballs looking at this yet. And how do you think that changes over time?
I think it'll follow a lot of the path that technology has followed in the past, and that there'll be a lot of things that are tried in the early days, and that's the way it has to happen. The investment is, trying lots of things. Most will fail or not succeed, and some will succeed. The winners will continuously move on and build, and product features continue to evolve, and you will eventually have a technology emerge and knowledge emerge that will be the dominant force in that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, right now there's a handful of companies, but the demand is so small.
Right.
And I think that, once the demand starts picking up, you'll see a lot more interest in the space, and I think it'll come all at once. I'm starting to see tokenization appear on some of the YouTube channels for real estate, and I think it's kind of starting to turn a little bit. So it'll happen, and it may be accelerating quickly and faster than some people think.
So if you were to kind of catch that wave, that acceleration process, what would be, who would be the people, the kinds of people that you would want at your side as you're doing that? What kind of, is it fellow syndicators? Is it family offices who just have an appetite for risk? Is it the retail investor who you're reaching out to and saying, hey, here's an opportunity to get into a traditionally liquid asset class. It's a little different than Fundrise, right? Fundrise has an offering for retail investors, but this is a more complete ownership structure.
I think that would focus on the sponsor or the syndicator. They're the ones who are pushing the deal forward, and they're the ones who make the decisions on the deal initially. So I think that would be the most important, piece going forward. That's who you'd want to capture their minds and educate them. I would assume that would be the first place to start.
And 10 years from now, what kind of effects do you think this is going to have on home prices, commercial? I mean, it's the home price, that market is after the commercial market, obviously, in the tokenization space. But once this starts to take hold, do we see that home prices rise? Do we see that the illiquidity discount goes away and maybe there's a 15% natural increase?
The valuations will certainly go up.
Right.
As you expose the capability to purchase assets to many people, many more people than have the opportunity today, it will drive the valuations up. There's no doubt about that.
So it's almost, it's a benefit to the average person in that they have access to this, but it's also a challenge because they're then competing with all the other investors, but at the same time they didn't even have the opportunity to compete. So it's a net positive.
I think so, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, Brian, thanks for being here. Appreciate you sharing some thoughts.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Looking forward to seeing what Shepler Capital does in the years and months ahead.
Well, thank you very much, and I also look forward to the growth of the Texas Blockchain Council, and encourage everybody else to become a member and join and participate.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.